Train 262 Heavy, wind calm, runway 31 left, clear for takeoff, caution wake turbulence, previous departure, Heavy 777.
Hello, this is DerTebbers. Welcome aboard and welcome to Little Rock, Arkansas. How y'all doing? We are here in our B-58 Hustler from Convair. Why are we here in Little Rock, Arkansas in a B-58 Hustler? We're here because Little Rock used to have an air base, and that air base was the home of one of the B-58 Hustler groups. So that's why we're here in our Hustler. We're going to hustle a little bit. All right, first let's talk a little bit about our Silver Surfer here. This is the first operational supersonic bomber capable of Mach 2. And it was to replace the B-47 Stratojet, which we did earlier. It's designed for high-altitude, high-speed attack. We've talked about what happens with high-altitude, high-speed attack. That was like, everybody was like, high-altitude, high-speed, and then they realized, oh wait, they have missiles. Missiles will blow us up no matter what. Oh crap, now we have to go low-altitude. Low-altitude is denser air. Low-altitude means you design this aircraft for high-altitude, you put it at low-altitude, it can't go as fast. Simple as that. But it was still a very fast, very powerful aircraft. It received notoriety because its sonic booms, heard constantly by the public when it was overflying the United States, kind of led to some of the pushback against supersonic flight over populated areas. This aircraft has, as you can see, a delta wing design with a 60-degree sweep to those wings on the leading edge anyway. It is a three-man crew. They're all in separate cockpits. In fact, when I get in my cockpit, you can see I have a stick. That's it. Well, apparently I'm missing the back of my aircraft, but that's all right. So I have a stick. Yeah, let's take to the air and then. All right. So apparently my flaps are either yes or no. What? Apparently. All right. Where's my flap pitch? Okay, flaps are up. Flaps are down. All right. Well, we'll go with down then. All right, let's ramp up our 4 General Electric J79 GE5As producing 15,600 pounds of thrust afterburning. All right. I feel like I've got my head stuck through the ceiling panel, but whatever. Okay. Look at this big old bird. I have actually seen one. I've stood underneath one of these. In fact, we'll talk about the exact one I stood under in a little bit. But this aircraft looks really nice. Look at her. Can she take off yet? Yes-ish. Yes-ish. There she goes. Look at that front landing gear. Look at how that front landing gear retracts. Look at how it slides back like that. Is that not awesome? That was very specifically designed because of the way the aircraft was built. All right. It looks kind of weird, like somebody sat on the middle and kind of went splort and squished it. Yeah, we'll talk about why in a minute. Let's get those flaps up. Let's get inside to make sure the flaps are up. Flaps are now up. All right. We might not land this aircraft. We might just dash this aircraft, meaning run with it. But we're going to throttle her back a little bit. I've just noticed my engine gauges don't appear to work. Okay, well that's great. Who needs working engine gauges, right? Oh wait, nope, they do work, They're working. They're slowly spooling down. Okay, good. All right, so each man on our 3-man crew had an ejection capsule. Not an ejection seat, an ejection capsule. It was designed to allow them to eject up to 70,000 feet at Mach 2. So you could be dashing along and then just eject. Is that not nuts? It was a clamshell design, and it enclosed the seat. For the pilot, included their control stick and, of course, their O2 supply. Now, what this allowed was the pilot could hit the button to prep for ejection. The clamshell would enclose him. He could still control the aircraft. So if they thought, oh no, we're about to get impacted by a missile, prepare to eject literally meant hit your little button or whatever it was, and I probably couldn't find it if I wanted to in here, but hit your little button to prep yourself for ejection. Oh my goodness, how did we get so high so fast? We'll talk about that in a minute, too. Prepare yourself for ejection, and then if it hit or whatever, you hit the button, and poof, there you go, out in your little capsule. The capsule could float. It could turn into a life raft. It was very much a almost like you'd see on Star Trek, where they run into the lifeboats aboard the Enterprise. Sort of the same concept. It was a self-sufficient capsule. To test them, the military used live bears and chimpanzees. I don't know how they tested them with live bears and chimpanzees, but they tested them with live bears and chimpanzees. Strange things. So this aircraft had a smaller load, shorter range, and was more expensive than the B-52. So logically, what do you think happened? Yeah. The B-52 is still flying today. This is not. Pretty much the whole story right there. Now, this big thing in the middle, that's the bomb load. So it carried the bombs in like a capsule under the belly, and it would drop the bombs out of the capsule. Could carry 4 B-43 or B-61 nuclear bombs. It was a very difficult aircraft to fly. Pilots reported they were constantly having to work at flying, and it wasn't just a pilot, it was the entire 3-man crew, including the various defensive officers who had to do other duties aboard, found that they were constantly having to fly the aircraft. It was not a friendly aircraft to fly. You worked at it. This caused a high hull loss ratio, and it did lead to the military not particularly looking fondly upon the aircraft. There is our runway over there. Woo-hoo. We are cooking with Jet A. All right, so let's talk about the B-58 that I have hung around. That is the B-58 named Greased Lightning. It is currently on display in Omaha at the Strategic Air Command Museum. In 1963, the Greased Lightning flew Tokyo to London via Alaska. 8,028 miles, flew it in 8 hours, 35 minutes, and 20.4 seconds at an average speed of 938 miles per hour. It is a record that still stands today. There you go. 1963, still stands today. Range of this aircraft was in full weight config was 1,740 miles. Okay, so in full weight config, so in its combat configuration with its bombs and that little gut tank thing going on there, that could be converted into carrying fuel, which would be used for Greased Lightning, and other things as necessary. Though she never carried anything but nuclear bombs. She was never converted for... Where the heck is the runway now? It is in front of me, indeed. I just can't see it in the cockpit. Well, that's going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah. All right, let's... I'm trying to read my gauges, and I just don't... They're not friendly right now. All right, let's see what happens when I hit the air brakes. Oh, there's some air brakes. Nice. Retract those. All right. She also was equipped with one 20mm T-171 cannon for defense. Obviously, that's not so useful all the time. So, not... I mean, they got rid of it on the B-52 because, again, missiles don't really respond to cannon fire very well. I just sort of ignore it and blow you up anyway. Okay, we're going to try to make this landing. I know it says we're high, but with this aircraft, with this aircraft, I just have this bad, I'm going to plant this aircraft into the ground feeling. And I don't have a lot of runway here in Little Rock, Arkansas, so it's going to be interesting. There were only a few squadrons of B-58s because they were so expensive. They just were not Yeah, sink rate. Thank you.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
According to that thing, I should continue sinking.
Don't sink.
So, hush.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Just be quiet, talkie man.
Don't sink.
This aircraft
sink.
also held, up until
Don't sink.
the SR-71 was retired, held the LA to New York record. And then the SR-71 showed up and, well, kind of Goomba stomped this aircraft.
Sink rate.
Yeah, I know the sink rate. The sink rate is
Up.
terrible because I need to get
Up.
down faster.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
I like how it tells me not to sink, but I'm not exactly sinking fast. All right, here we go. Do I have any way to reverse this aircraft? Does not appear to be. Let's put these up just in case. I mean, every little bit counts in stopping. I do find that look of the fuselage, the way it has like the bulbous front and then the bulbous rear, it just looks so interesting compared to aircraft we're used to today, which are just, you know, a tube. This was not just a tube. There we go. Some stop there. I have this aircraft throttled all the way down, by the way. And it just doesn't want to throttle all the way down. It's one of these aircraft that you have to watch because it's just going to walk away on you. Huh. All right. Parking brakes on. Engine's off. All right. So one of the things I've noticed this whole time is notice they've modeled the Afterburners. That's kind of derp. All right. Can we open the aircraft? What opened? Exit is open. Is it? Because I don't see it. Well, so Shift D does nothing. All right, let's check out our panels. I didn't want to do this in flight. Oh my good googly moogly. Right. Interesting. Shift 2. There's my GPS. 3 is nothing. 4. Okay, so this is supposed to be my FFMFP, whatever in the world that is. But that is like. That almost looks like someone took a photograph of one and then just sort of modeled after it. Maybe they did, but I don't think so. But there you go. All right. This is the Convair B-58 Hustler. This is not Greased Lightning, but the Greased Lightning looks the same. I promise. I was there. It looks like it. If you're in Omaha or ever going through Omaha, also, if you're going through Dayton, Ohio, because they have one at Dayton. I think I've seen the one at Dayton, too. The one at Dayton, I believe, is the one that used to hold the LA to New York record before the SR-71 Goomba stomped it. This is a B-58 Hustler. Link is down below. As always, I've been DerTebbers. This has been your Flight Simulator X-Plane Spotlight. I actually landed it. I'm shocked. And you might be shocked, too. Till next time. Happy flying.
United 351 North Alpha, good evening. Depart the Woodside VOR heading 060, vector visual approach runway 28 left.
Okay, out of Woodside 060 for 28 left, United 351.